What's up, everybody? This is Brian Easton, author of the Autobiography of a Werewolf Hunter series, and this is Whiskey with the Werewolf Hunter. The creature of the night is Wild Turkey 101. This is my new favorite bourbon. It is, it's got a lot of ass in its britches, but it is smooth for that. It's got a mellowness to it that you generally don't find in a high alcohol bourbon, and it's also got a pretty high rye content in the mash bill, which might be another reason why I like it as well as I do. But anyway, Wild Turkey 101. We're going to be giving away this t-shirt next week, and at the end of the show tonight I'm going to tell you how you can win that shirt. Don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button at the bottom of your screen at any time during the program. Let's get on with it. Last week we began our discussion of the Wolven breeds within the lineage. Wolven being the operative word, of course, because werewolves are not wolves, but they are wolf-like. And so, therefore, the Wolven term is used for the breeds. And we talked about the least Wolven last time, which are the Omega wolves, and we talked about the low Wolven, the lower-born Wolven. Well, we're going to move up in the rankings tonight. We're going to talk about the high Wolven and the noble Wolven. Now, the high Wolven are generally betas in the lineage. If you don't know what that means, among wolf packs, they have an alpha, they have a beta, they have, in the pecking order, they have these different ranks. The Omega being the least of them, the beta being second in command, and the alpha, of course, being in charge. So high Wolven are generally lineage betas, and they can be produced by both rights of provenance, birthright and birthmark. If you'll remember, birthmark is literally marking, the bite that transmits the werewolf legacy, and the birthright, which is whelping. It's being actually literally born into the lineage. Now, among the high Wolven, being born to the lineage is less common than it is through the birthmark. But when it does happen, they are descendant from one of the six lines, one of the six beast princes that came from the first werewolf, Esau, or Therion, meaning great beast. And but they can only be separated by like 3 generations from a noble Wolven, or they can be born of a human and a noble Wolven. This creates the high Wolven. When the birthmark is used, which is the most common because the most betas prefer the birthmark because they believe it will make their heirs mentally and spiritually strong enough to compete with the generally more robust and physically powerful noble Wolven. So the sire, which is the one who's actually doing the marking, must be descended from one of the 6 lines of Esau through the birthmark by no more than 3 generations. Again, from a noble Wolven, or marked by a human marked by a noble Wolven. Now, the high Wolven, the breed demonstrates a pretty good resilience to silver. See, silver doesn't always have to inflict a mortal wound on a werewolf to kill them. Wolves can die from the effects of the injury itself as caused by silver, or the silver can poison their blood, so to speak, over time, especially if it remains inside the wound, inside the body. The high Wolven are verbal. They can speak. They get kind of guttural, but they can speak and they can communicate quite well. And they can also change their form whenever they like. They don't need a full moon to do that. In fact, only the least powerful wolves need the full moon to transform. At which point, when the full moon rises, they can't help themselves. They have to transform, and whether they want to or not. High Wolven also can do some sorceries, and if you've read the books, you know what I mean. They can lock up a weapon, blow out a candle, shut a door. Little things mostly, but things that can be effective in the dark, and especially when your life is on the line and every second counts. They're very cunning, even at full ascension, but like their weaker kin, they do revert to a baser demonic instinct on the full moon. Now, noble wolven, on the other hand, the noble wolven are the lineage alphas. These are the guys in charge, pretty much. More commonly made through the birthright right of provenance, because the nobles prefer it. They feel that it conveys that physical power and prestige of the princes, and a direct descendant of one of the beast princes through birth has to be traceable through unbroken lines, traceable through the bloodline exclusively through that single prince. That is a bloodline that is completely Alaric or completely Ulric or completely Ammon or any of the others beast princes. Now they can also, these are noble wolven now, remember we're talking about. Now noble wolven can also be marked through that right of providence. That's less common. The direct descendant of one of the 6 beast princes through, again, an unbroken bloodline has to be the sire, has to be the one who actually marks the individual into the lineage, transmitting his legacy and the legacy of his line to that person. Now, aside from the darkest wolven, which we will talk about in time, the high wolven are the most resilient to silver. They can change, again, at will, day or night, and they can control the stages of their ascension as well, except, of course, on the full moon. But even on the full moon, they are lucid, intelligent thinkers. So this is the part of the show I call Let's Talk Shop. And we've been going over the Code of the Monster Hunter, which is a set of points, rules, guidelines, whatever you want to call them, that I put together for the Legends of the Monster Hunter anthology for MB Press back a few years ago. And so tonight's point is kind of an important one. It's one of my favorite points, actually. And that is that monsters can be long on intimidation and short on courage. Overcome the former to exploit the latter. Now, depending on what kind of creature we're talking about here, monsters are much like any other carnivorous predator, okay, when it comes to what they're used to dealing with. Lions, tigers, other big cats, bears, wolves, these things don't necessarily need to be courageous creatures, especially since the other animals, people included, step aside when they see them coming. They intimidate by their size, by their roar, by their reputation, and courage just doesn't enter into the thinking of a large predator until he comes across a honey badger or a wolverine, something that won't give them a wide berth. In fact, not only will they not give them a wide berth, but they will actively pick a fight with said lion, tiger, grizzly bear. Okay, if you've seen the videos of these honey badgers, they're absolutely out of their minds. I mean, they'll charge in between a big cat's leg and castrate it, and keep bringing the fight to it. And when this happens, when courage is actually called for on the part of the big cat or whatever kind of predator we're talking about, he doesn't know what to do. It's not in the game. Okay? It's not the way it's supposed to be. And the aggression shown by the creature, whatever it is, we're talking about honey badgers, wolverines, this kind of thing. The sheer aggression shown by these creatures throws them off their game. They're not used to that. Now, that's not to say that the big cat couldn't kill the badger. Of course they do. Leopards actively prey on honey badgers, so they're not the end-all, be-all, indestructible, creature that we might want to think they are. And neither are wolverines, of course. But by and large, they have this, they've got this attitude and this ferocity, and they've got, the claws and fangs to back it up. But it's the fighting back, and so big predators are not necessarily very very brave when it comes in these situations. You'll see a wolverine will back off a whole pack of wolves off a carcass. Well, honey badgers will do the same to hyenas. And another thing, you've probably seen videos like this on nature channels or what have you, where let's say a cheetah will be, is out, and the cheetahs are, of course, speed hunters. They chase down the gazelles or the impalas or whatever they got there. And when that's the way it goes, they know exactly what to do, and they're killing machines, of course. But if the prey animal won't run from the cheetah because it's too inexperienced, it's naive, it's just got a lot of balls, then you watch the cat doesn't know really what to do. It's the same kind of thing with the aggression of the other things. You're supposed to be running. If you're not running, I'm not sure I really know what I'm supposed to be doing here. So they almost seem bewildered when this happens. I'm sure it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, they're off their game. And that's basically what we're talking about here. Now, any given Sunday, a leopard will kill a honey badger, and a grizzly bear will kill a wolverine or whatever. I've even heard of a beaver killing a wolverine in one story. And so while this exploit or overcome the intimidation of the monster to exploit its relative lack of courage, while this point applies to some monsters, it doesn't apply to all of them. And some will just as soon take your head off. They don't care how brave or aggressive you are. They'll just kill you that much quicker. So choose your application of this rule wisely, will you? Well, now we're coming to the part of the show where we've been calling tools of the trade. We've been going over the arsenal of Sylvester Logan James. We went over his Bowie knife, his Winchester rifle. And this week we're going to be going over the tool in his toolkit that he uses the most, the Colt M1911. Actually, he has two of them. These are replicas. So these are single action, semi-automatic, magazine fed, chambered for the 45 ACP round. And here's actually a 45 ACP round, and this is an actual silver bullet that was cast and loaded especially for me. And I kind of keep it in my pocket from time to time and shine it up. But that's the kind of rounds that Sylvester fires out of these guys. Now, this the Colt M1911. It served as the sidearm, the government issue sidearm for the United States military from 1911 until 1986, when it was replaced with the 9mm Beretta. But it is still in use. They haven't phased out the old war horse completely, and it's still in use in certain circles of the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. It's one of the world's most famous and most popular sidearms, the M1911, and it's been widely copied. Just about every gun manufacturer in the world has their own model of the 1911 now. And like I said, they're iconic, easily recognized, and these are Sylvester's favorite weapons. Well, they're the ones he uses the most anyway. He learns to fire these guys early in his training. Michael Winter Fox teaches him to use his, which was from the First World War, the first war in which they were issued. And he uses these weapons more than any other in any point of the book. In fact, you don't ever find one of these far from his hand at any point in the book series. He uses them against the beast and its allies more than any other weapon, like I said, and he's trained to use them so much that his marksmanship with them are superb. This is the T-shirt I was telling you about. I showed it to you last week. Whiskey with the Werewolf Hunter, extra large. It's soft. It's comfortable. Well, it feels like it'd be comfortable. I haven't actually worn it. It's got one of our original logos on it, and I'm going to mail this bad boy to somebody, hopefully next week. This is the contest. Looking for a good sign-off slogan. Edward R. Murrow had "Good luck and good night." Walter Cronkite ended every newscast by saying, "And that's the way it is." And Casey Kasem, of course, "Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars." So, what would be a good sign-off slogan for here at the Werewolf Bar for us? Got an idea? Put it in the comments down below, and we'll look through them. And next week, and we'll see if any of them fit our mash bill. Until then, visit us on the web at www.werewolfhunter.com. Send me an email at brian@werewolfhunter.com. And hopefully next week we'll be using your sign-off slogan right here.